The next guest is back in action against Norma Dumont, UFC Fight Night, July 15th. It's right around the corner. It is Chelsea Chandler back here on the program. Chelsea, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for joining me. It's good to talk to you again. A lot has happened since this fight was announced. I wanted to start first with obviously Amanda Nunes retiring and Dana White basically kind of putting hot water on this division. I know you talked about going down to 35, but just were you expecting that when Nunes did retire, or what are your thoughts on the division basically being taken away?
Well, I don't think it's been taken away per se. Dana had said he thinks it's gone. And I just think that they don't have a face or someone that's come out and like whipped butt and done what needs to be done to keep the division alive. And also, I feel like retiring is like a way to take a break. I mean, you look at Conor McGregor, you look at a lot of people. They took breaks and they came back. And I feel like if there's something that's big enough for Nunes to come back, she'll come back. Okay. And then the other, what was I going to say? Yeah, so I feel like if I go out there and do what I got to do, the featherweight division might not be dead, exactly, but we'll see.
Well, just speaking out loud here, I think they could still do featherweight. I think there's a lot of 35-pounders that just shouldn't cut the weight, and then you can get a better fight that way. It seems like there's a few women, yourself included, Norma. I know Macy Chasson's had issues making 135. Like, that seems like a slam dunk. Is that something you think could potentially work here? There's always talk about talent, but I think the talent's there. It's just they're in the wrong weight class.
No, I agree. I mean, look at Macy. She didn't. She said she wanted to fight me at 45, and then basically she got told, "Hey, you need to cut the weight and go down to 35," and they told her no. So then she's cutting all this weight to fight Yana, and I think she got injured. And of course, you're like 6 foot tall, and you're cutting weight, and you're trying to actually fight somebody. Like it's just a bad recipe for being injured, and it's a disaster. So then she's probably sitting at home watching, seeing that Carol Rosa and Yana are fighting at 45 now, and she's probably pissed.
Yeah.
And then I feel like a lot of these fights, they would be better off if the girls weren't cutting as much. Like even Yana, like she's a big girl, and I think she's way more entertaining when she's a little bit heavier. Absolutely. And then even Irina Aldana, she just fought a bad fight, and it looked like to me it was her weight cut. Like she was just a deer in the headlights, not doing things she needed to do because she cut too much weight. And I've done that, and it sucks. And when you're in the fight and you've cut too much weight, things just don't click fast enough because your brain was just dehydrated, and now they want you to go out and fight somebody.
Let's talk about your opponent, Norma Dumont. What do you match against her here?
So I know she likes to strike. She's kind of a counter striker. She's kind of boring too. She just kind of waits for you to come in and then hit you with big shots. I think it's a great matchup for me because I come forward, I put the pressure, and I think I'm way better than her on the fence, on the ground, and even standing up. So I feel like I could take this fight anywhere I want and dominate. So I'm really excited about it.
Of course, you come from a great training camp. Who've been some of the main training partners helping you get ready for this one?
So I've been at Cesar Gracie's doing jiu-jitsu. I've got Victor Gallatin. He's a black belt in Sambo, also black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's my head coach. We do a lot of game planning. I have Felipe Martinez, my boxing coach. I box all the time. And then I've been doing a ton of strength and conditioning with Game Fit out in Sacramento. So I feel really strong. And then I've also doing a ton of kickboxing with Big Boss Muay Thai. So I've got everything handled, and I'm really excited about this fight.
Do you mainly train more with men than women, like as far as training partners, or does it kind of vary?
So in the beginning, I trained primarily with men, and I still do, but I've learned to be a lot smarter about my choices, and I feel like once you're in this game for a while, you have to be able to read people and read their egos and be like, all right, you got an ego, you can go over there and fight that guy.
Right. Yeah.
You got to learn to say no. So I've gotten really good at that, and I have people that are good training partners that are guys and girls, and it's having boundaries and knowing who's safe to train with and who's not.
Is it kind of a mix of pros and amateurs? I know a lot of fighters do like training with the amateurs because you get that different look.
Well, yeah, especially with amateurs, you get even if you watch an amateur show, you see these guys that come out and they go 100. So it's nice to sometimes get that too, like the full going 100, like with someone who's trying to take your head off, because it puts you like in a fight. So yeah, I mix it up. I got my sister. She's about my height and my size. She's she kind of does some of the stuff Norma does. So yeah, I've got her. I've trained with Aspen Lad for this fight. I know she had just fought a southpaw, so we sparred a bit. Autumn Norton came down. We did some stuff. So
cool.
yeah, I'm mixing it up, and I'm ready.
What's it like training with Aspen? Because I would imagine just personality wise, and I mean this in a good way, you guys are kind of opposites. She's a little bit more soft spoken, and you're obviously, you know, like what you see is what you get. I know Aspen can be like that, but it takes a bit to open her up like that.
Yeah, well, we both go to Game Fit in Sacramento. So and I've known Aspen since, I don't know, since I started. We sparred in the beginning probably like 8 years ago. Okay. So I mean, we've worked with each other, you know, we kind of separated our ways and had, you know, different training camps and stuff. But yeah, I mean, she's cool and she loves her animals. And
have you done one of those 8-hour hikes with her before?
No, I have not. I don't think there will be.
Yeah, I was going to say that's like a fight itself, just getting through the you know, all that hiking. It's just crazy. And just last thing on training, obviously you mentioned Cesar Gracie. Nate Diaz has his boxing fight coming up with Jake Paul. Have you gotten to see Nate at all, or how's he looking?
No, I haven't. I don't know. I have no idea.
It's going to be interesting though, just you know, because obviously Nate has all that experience, and you know he's tough to take out. And then you got Jake Paul, who I'd argue is a bit bigger than him in terms of the size and everything. But Nate's tough, man. So that's where I'm intrigued with that fight. Yeah,
I mean it's intriguing because you got Jake Paul, who, you know, he's got the money backing him. And it's cool when you have someone who has the will and the drive to like train every day, especially when they don't have to. So when someone is like that, they're scary because like it's just their own motivation that's pushing them to train every day. So yeah, I think it's a real intriguing matchup, and I don't know. I don't want to say what way. I think
no worries. No, I'm not asking you that. It's all good. It's all good.
It'll be a good fight.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Now as far as the weight cut goes, do you have to cut much for 145? Like, how does that look?
I'm about 160 right now.
Okay.
I mean, when I was cutting down to 35, I was about 160 right now too. So it's actually a nice weight off my shoulder.
Okay.
But I cut weight pretty good. Like my first bath and stuff, I cut like 5 or 6 pounds.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And with the week, I'll probably cut another 5. So I'm not too worried about this weight cut. I've been running a little bit to try to get ahead of it. I'd like to be sitting at like 56, 57. So I've still got like 3 weeks to do that, and I'm right on track.
Who's making the trip with you to Vegas? Who's going to be in your corner?
So I got Victor Galden, Felipe Martinez, and then Big Boss Muay Thai.
Awesome. And how's this fight playing out? I know you feel like you're going to get your hand raised, but how do you see you getting it done?
I mean, I like punching, striking. I mean, I see a KO. I think she gets real tired once you do grappling exchanges. So, you know, maybe I'll tire her out the first round and knock her out in the second. We'll see. I'm excited though.
You know, we talked about obviously 145 and there's being some uncertainty. Is it your understanding after this you will fight at 35, or what in your mind do you have? Is it still in the open as far as you know?
You know, honestly, I like to take each fight one at a time. I'm really focused on this fight, and I think if I go out there and do big things like I'm planning on doing, I think the doors will open up. So, you know, we'll just see how this fight goes and see what happens. But I'm excited, and I could always do bantamweight, but we'll see what happens. I'm really excited about it.
And you kind of alluded to it there. Like, do you feel like you could be the face of 45? Like, you got an exciting style. You definitely know how to talk on the mic. And the thing is, like, it's not like an act. You know, I know how you are.
Yeah.
I do feel like that's something the UFC is kind of taking notice of, the fact that they're even making this fight at 45.
Yeah, you know, they are. And I feel like they need a face. And then you got all these girls going in there shaking hands, and nobody wants to watch that. Like, they don't. So I feel like if I go in there, shake things up, and do what I'm supposed to do, the doors will open up. So I'm ready to put on a show and see what happens.
Speaking of trash talk, what do you make of Julianna Pena sort of going after Amanda Nunes and all this with her trash talk? Do you like that? It's, for some, they like it. They say, hey, it's bringing more eyeballs. But then others are like, why are you calling out a retired fighter who's not coming back anytime soon?
I got my own opinions about her. She's super cringe. And I'm like, I don't know if she practices what she's saying in the mirror or whatever, but it drives me nuts. Like, it's all cringe. And then I don't know. I just feel like everything she says is super fake, and I can't stand it.
Okay, fair enough. Well, yeah, and then she talked about storming the cage, and I'm kind of like, well, if you did that, it would be something, but you didn't storm the cage.
You didn't. You should have done it. Like, you know, and then like you want to call her a chicken for wimping out. Like, you pulled out. You broke your rib and you pulled out. You had the opportunity. You lost it. Now get over it and see what happens. And I feel like really the only reason they're giving her a shot is because she is talking shit. Because there's nobody else talking shit bringing any eyes to it. So maybe if all these other girls started doing something, we'd have someone else to look at besides her big mouth.
And we talked about Amanda Nunes. What did you think of her performance against Irene? Again, you talked about Irene maybe not showing up, but Nunes did put on a pretty big beating on her.
I mean, she did. Yeah, she did what she had to do. I think it kind of showed a lot about her grappling. I think it was overrated. I never really thought she was a great grappler. I mean, Kat Zingano grounded and pounded her. So to me, it made her look like she was super beatable. But, I mean, everybody else, because I know what a weight cut is and how it feels when you feel like shit. And I could just see it on Aldana. And I was like, man, you're making this look too easy for her. And I feel like all the girls have done that. They've made it look too easy for Nunes. They go in there, they're scared, they don't pull the trigger, and they don't do what they got to do. And I think that's the only reason why Pena got so big was because she went out there and she wasn't scared, and she threw punches, and she got Nunes tired. So, yeah, okay. I think she looked human, and that's why I think she retired. Tired. It's hard when you don't have the motivation anymore to train. So I feel like there were spots in the fight where she was resting and just she could have finished it.
Before we go, we talked all about fighting. What's Downtime looking like? You mentioned going for runs and stuff. You watching any TV shows right now? Anything like that?
No. Yeah, I mean, I do watch TV shows, but they're usually to put me to bed. And I like Law and Order and CSI, all those crime scene movies and killing movies. I don't know. They just kind of relax me. So that's kind of what I watch when I go home. I go to sleep watching them.
Yeah, to like shut your brain off. I get that too. I'm kind of the same way. I watch a little bit of TV and then maybe do some reading before bed. But the TV for sure, it's just like I don't want to do anything. Just take it all in, Yeah,
I just like to veg a little bit. Yeah, or when I'm in camp, maybe on like Tuesday night, I like to go to the movies and just relax, watch a movie after I'm done training.
Okay, what's a good movie you've seen recently? I don't go to the movies enough, so I need some recommendations.
Oh, geez. Every movie I've seen hasn't been that great.
Fair enough.
There was this love show. No, it wasn't that bad. It was these women that went to Greece, I think, or somewhere. I don't know what it was called, but it was like a comedy, and it was cool.
Okay, I'll have to Google "Women Go to Greece" comedy. I'm sure I'll come up with something. But it's all good. Chelsea, thanks so much for making my job easy. It's always great talking to you. If there's anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
I just want to thank my team, Big Boss Muay Thai, Felipe Martinez, Game Fit, Cesar Gracie, and all my training partners. And I'm excited to put a show on July 15th in Vegas on the main card.